Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sharing My Truth Pod. We're broadcasting live from London town, and we're here to say Sharing My Truth Pod is on display. You guys can give us a little like, follow, subscribe on our YouTube. You can also look at us at Sharing My Truth Pod on the socials. Go to sharingmytruth.com to share your truths with us. Voicemail, email, snail mail, whatever you want.
Very good.
Hey, babes.
Hello, Danny.
Hello.
Fabulous. Super duper.
Super.
Fantastic.
Super. I feel like I'm a bit sniffly. Allergies are very bad in London.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, my God.
There's
I'm like,
so many trees and so much of grass. It's a nightmare.
I'm like, and the air is way more dry here. Obviously, we're talking about the weather. It's very exciting, but
It is.
yeah.
Well, that's
I mean,
very British of us.
it
Yeah,
is.
that's what the British do.
Britishisms.
We talk about the weather.
It's so wet and rainy and cold.
Yes.
But not today. It's gorgeous.
Today is a very nice day, but it doesn't help with the old allergies and all them trees.
Oh, my God. I'm literally dying right now. But
Sniffle, sniffle.
I shall survive.
You will.
I shall survive. Well, Mel, we have a cute little topic.
Yes. Now, this is a question that somebody asked us, so we'll see if we can answer it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is if your friend is like on the dating scene, whatever that means, the apps, the real world.
The apps.
I don't know. Whatever
It's
you're
terrifying.
doing,
Yep.
and they cannot get a date,
Mm-hmm.
like nothing kind of works, and you know why. Do you say something? That's the question that we have been posed. So we're going to attempt. Well, all we're going to do is give our opinions, and
Yes.
ours, I'm guessing, are going to be different, and that might help in some way.
Do you tell them? It depends on how close you are to this friend. I think you can not tell them being like, hey, you're kind of a bitch, so you're probably not going to get any dates. Like, I don't think that's
Wow.
what you say. I think you just kind of guide them
Really? You don't think
into
that's a good idea?
I mean, depending on the friend, maybe, but yeah, I feel like there's ways to guide them nicely into a different way of thinking, maybe.
I think we agree.
Oh, good.
I think, yeah, you cannot just go, oh, yeah, you're an ugly whatever, or fix your teeth or dye your hair or something, because you could really hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
And it's not for you. What to say, unless they ask you. And if they ask you, what do you think the problem is?
That's still delicate.
Yeah, obviously you're not going to be an arsehole about it. But if they ask you and you say, do you want me to be truthful? Although this may be
Share my truth.
tough. And they say yes or no. I mean, I still think you need to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
So if it's really like, something very personally physical that you think's off, or something about their personality, which, let's face it, is probably harder to
Yeah. Like what?
change.
Are you going to really tell someone to lose 10 pounds?
No, I wouldn't say that, because I think that's horrible. And I think, I'm not sure that's super relevant, depending on, how realistic your dating is. I mean, if you're trying to date tall, 6'5",
Yeah.
amazing looking, super athletic, whatever young men, and you are 40 pounds overweight,
Yeah.
then I think you might need to readjust your expectations.
Yes.
But no, I'm talking more. I mean, what do you do if somebody's like I've heard this before, actually, where this sounds strange, but somebody has bad breath, which is like a thing.
Mm-hmm. Halitosis.
Yeah. And what do you say? Or they have BO. Do you know what BO is?
Of course I know what BO.
No, I was just thinking whether it was an English word. Yeah, so they don't use enough deodorant.
Yes.
Or something like that. They're not dirty or anything. They just smell, or the breath smells, or something.
Yeah.
Feet smell.
Ugh.
They don't do the toenails. I don't know. But I think, again, even that, you have to be careful. But I think there are ways of saying it. But it's very difficult. I don't, unless they ask you. I mean, I can think of a couple of my friends who are actually now happily married, and they were struggling, and I sort of knew why. It wasn't anything physical. And
Can you give us an example?
Well, they were
No,
both
with no
beautiful.
names. Yeah.
Both very attractive women, but they're mega aggressive.
Right.
Mega full on, which a lot of women are today, Gen X and up. They are very aggressive, very full on. Actually, as an example, yesterday Susie and I were on a train
Oh my God.
going from London to Oxford, and we were in the quiet zone. Now, if anybody knows anything about trains in England, the quiet zone, as you might think, is the quiet zone.
It's fucking being quiet.
Don't talk. You're not supposed to make
Shut the
phone
fuck up.
calls. So if you want to go into the quiet zone and listen to our pod, that's what you would do.
That's great. You
Or
have
read.
small conversations.
Yeah, it's not
Keep
a
your voice
place
down.
to. Yeah, and because we have a lot of trains in England and people travel a lot, it's a thing. You might be spending quite a few hours on the train, and you might want to go somewhere and listen to music, listen to a pod, read it, blah blah. This woman behind us has a full pitched.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
the entire carriage heard her, not just the
Truly.
quiet zone. Very, very, very loud voice, really obnoxious, having a fight with her bank
Yeah.
about a payment. So something like really you really don't want the whole world to know
No.
that you're talking to your bank.
It is so crazy to me that
she
that was happening on the train.
And she was screaming and everyone around was laughing.
She was like, "You're not listening to me."
She had a French accent, so we'll add that bit to it.
Yeah.
You're not listening and I'm going to complain. And anyway, but and this was almost the
insane.
entire hour to Oxford.
And every time she spoke, everyone else was looking around in the car, being
Yeah.
like, "Did
So-
we see something?"
Exactly. So the point,
Like-
why am I telling you this? I'm
But
going
it's
off track.
scary to
But if
even go
she-
up to her.
Yeah, if she was my friend, I'd fucking know why she wasn't getting any dates.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to work with the woman, let alone she was terrifying. And I know a lot of women who are like that. They're very, very aggressive because they feel in the workplace or in any kind of administrative thing or whatever,
Yeah.
in order to be taken seriously, they have to be not assertive, which is a different thing, aggressive,
Right.
full on fucking bitch mode. And then what happens, which I personally don't agree with, but that's for another pod. And then in their personal life, so basically super masculine, if you like, even though I don't know many men like this woman for crying out loud. And then they bring it into their personal life. They don't sort of tone it down. And I hate to break it to you, ladies, men, whether they're my age, your age, or like a pod we've just done, they're a Gen Z, they don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Why would they like it? It's this horrible, super aggressive vibe. And you could be the most attractive woman in the world, but if you're like that or you're very cold,
Yeah.
it's hard.
But how do you change that about someone? How do you even
Well-
tell them that? And like, hey, maybe you're a little aggressive for the men you're trying to attract, and then they take that super personally, and then they don't ever talk to you again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very difficult.
Did
In
you
fact,
tell your friend about this?
I didn't say anything.
Oh wow, yeah.
But
there
she
you go.
actually, it's odd because she changed. Like she met the love of her life, quite literally, and she's a completely different person.
That's so interesting.
It kind of softened it, not in a sexist way, nothing like that. She just was almost had this aggression to survive kind of vibe about her. And then she's not anymore. She's not like that. I mean, she's a lovely person. She was just very aggressive in interactions, particularly with men.
Wow.
I think because she, you're nervous, you're stressed about the fact you haven't met whoever or whatever it is, and it comes out in the wrong way. I didn't tell her. No, she didn't ask. So I didn't tell her.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
she found somebody, and that's great. And they're very happy. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, so like if someone smells,
Well, I do know people in work situations where they've had to tell subordinates, that sounds terrible, subordinates, people, working
Yeah.
for them, that, you smell.
yeah.
And you're in an office and you've got to do something about it. And that is pretty tricky. The halitosis thing, I think, is a harder thing. I mean, you could just put some mints.
Yeah. It is
Their
okay,
way.
so it is interesting. This is like kind of it is kind of relevant. So I had a friend. I'm still friends with him, but it's been like a while. Like he lives on the other side of the country now. But his breath smelled so bad for like a long time, and I was like, oh my God, like what is going on? And he smoked and he drank and he like wasn't the healthiest person. I never told him, but it turned out he had mouth cancer. And like, I'm like, oh my God, if I had said something earlier and he's fine. But if I had said something fucking earlier about it, then maybe he would have got it checked out. I mean, I have no idea, maybe not. But like, it's just so interesting. I'm like, so obviously these things are just like, check yourself. That's what I also don't get. I'm like, do you not smell it on you?
Right. I was
How
about
does
to
this
say
person
that.
not smell it?
I mean, like you, I'm obsessed with mints.
Yes.
I have in my bag at any one time.
Always gum.
I have gum.
Yeah.
I have mints, and I have like a breath freshener thing.
Good for you.
And my children are like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Why? I'd rather bad breath is embarrassing.
I always have a minty product because I can, like, now we just had some lunch. I can taste my mouth. It tastes of the stuff I ate.
Exactly.
So I know that, or when you've had tea or coffee, you can taste it.
Yes.
I don't get it. I know. And then, as we have discussed, and as you know about me, I'm obsessed about probably a little OCD about personal cleanliness. I can smell if I smell.
Yes.
It's my body. I have a nose. I can sniff it.
I understand what's going on
don't
here.
Get it. I mean, I can sniff if bits of my body sniff.
Sniff. I don't want to sniff my body unless it smells
if I was
nice.
going to have an interaction with the opposite sex,
yes, exactly.
I want to de-sniff. Because you're going to, like, if you're going to kiss somebody, surely you're not going to do that with full-on garlicky coffee breath.
I know, that's also the thing. It's like, that's why dinner is never good for a first date.
I agree.
Never good for a first date.
I agree.
Coffee's also not great for a first date because it's just
that's
too corporate.
A very good idea. Very good point. I mean,
but like cocktails and some nibbles, maybe like some like little bar snacks or something. Perfect first date. You typically won't, be having like garlic cloves for a snack.
Really? No.
At a little bar, maybe kimchi, but like
don't eat the kimchi. Would
that's
be
all
my
it is.
advice.
It's just like being aware.
Yeah.
Of what is going on.
100%. I mean, come on. I mean, you must be able to smell it. And the other thing I would say, this is a very older person about the first date, is your stomach is heavy, right?
Yes.
Like you've eaten, if you've gone for a really nice meal, you might have to go to the loo. No, I'm not going to explain to you what you might need to do because I think you can all grasp that.
I think we can understand.
And you could feel sort of bloated and stuff.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is be rolling around.
Yeah.
So, do you like that?
I did.
So, yeah, but absolutely, just be self-aware. But people are not self-aware, are they?
They're literally like people nowadays. I mean, maybe not nowadays, but like I feel like hygiene, even though we're so obsessed with skincare and all these other things, it's like people still don't really understand or they don't check themselves properly.
It's fascinating.
It's like the weirdest thing.
What do you think is the most common thing that you?
I think bad breath is the worst. Also,
with older men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always curious about like, because my friend had that, horrible thing happen. And then, and I'm like, maybe it's like a mouth disease thing. Maybe they just haven't gone to the dentist because older people, you need to take care of yourself more, quicker or
more regularly.
Thank you, darling. Yeah. So maybe they're just not doing that, but it's weird to me because it's not like I'm hooking up with like homeless men.
Yeah. No, I think it's also maybe, I don't know, if you're going out for a lot of meals and stuff like that. And obviously the older you get, I don't want to say you're like sort of slightly decrepit, but I don't know, but I've known young people with bad breath.
Oh my God,
bad BO. I mean, the BO thing.
The BO thing is a younger thing, I think.
Oh.
The bad breath is an older thing.
Ugh. Like I went past this person the other day and I was like, oh my. I almost was like, as I walked past, because I know they haven't used deodorant. And we all know I'm obsessive. Like I have my deodorant, then I put spray, then I put perfume. This is after 14,000 layers of body lotion. I'd be very, very concerned if somebody thought I smelt.
Yeah.
And I think, it's so we should say that, like, and then we'll stop talking about halitosis, is that people, obviously, when you eat and you drink alcohol, because that also stinks. That's the other thing people don't realize. Like, you smell.
Yes.
You can smell wine if you've been drinking it.
Like, is this new information? I don't know.
I don't think people realize it. I do. But it is quite normal. So there's nothing wrong with you if that's the case. We're talking about a really kind of pungent smell. But I guess maybe you don't know.
So
If
yeah,
it's
if
not-
you are that friend who is not getting dates and your friends haven't told you anything because maybe you just haven't asked or don't want to know, we are telling you, just sniff yourself.
Sniff yourself and maybe, okay, this is it.
Don't be so aggressive.
Don't be so aggressive. If they don't necessarily ask you, but they're complaining, they're going, this isn't working. Maybe they're getting first dates, but they're not getting second dates. Maybe because that's probably, if you're dating, that's the aim, right? The first date's probably the easy bit. It's like continuing to date somebody you like, and they're not sort of asking you another date or whatever the process is. Who the fuck knows right now?
Who the fuck knows?
Is maybe you could volunteer something, a piece of information, and say it nicely and kindly. And said, have you thought about this? Obviously not have you thought about the fact your breath stinks. Maybe think about, I don't know, you're going to have to use your smarts and
your wits about, yeah.
Yeah, and please don't be cruel. It's fucking horrible. Because also, you don't want them to say something about you don't realize.
That's right.
So be very, very careful when you criticize other people.
That's right.
Because, you know, you're not perfect. I always say this to people. Just remember, nobody's perfect. And something about you that you've not really realized, whether it's your personality or whatever the fuck it is, could really annoy other people and you don't realize. So be prepared. If you criticize somebody, you should always be prepared to receive criticism. So if you don't like it, don't say it.
Right.
Very
good.
But if it's your friend and you care about your friend and they haven't asked you, but they're worried and they're going on about it, maybe you can think of a way to say something kind and helpful, but not critical.
Yeah.
If it's a physical thing, like we've just talked about odor, that's hard. But maybe you could ask them some questions saying, what do you think? What happened on the day? What do you think? Did you kiss? Like maybe you could try and guide them towards this point. Like you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
So actually we agree.
We definitely do agree. I mean, it's just very difficult, or can be very difficult, because I have also had friends who are obviously younger, just trying to get into the dating game. You know, like maybe they've just gotten out of a relationship, or, you know, who knows, and they're just finding it hard to stick with dates, like you're saying, like get that second date, or like, and I mean, there's other things where it's like it has to do with, you know, and I hate saying this, but like not having sex on the first date every time, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's
you should or you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
but like, you know, that's just if you do want to take this a little bit more seriously than you think. Like,
it's very old fashioned of you.
I know. Well, for me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck right now because of like, who cares about dating right now for me? But like, I'm like, because I'm not looking for a relationship. But for the people who are looking for a relationship, it's just the truth that men will look at you differently if you do fuck 100%. On the first date. And so 100%. If you keep doing that,
it leaves nothing to the imagination. I mean, it sounds awful and it's quite old fashioned, but I don't think it's changed. Is you've got to, and it works the other way too.
Yeah.
Like if the woman wants to and you're very chivalrous and you sort of take her to the door and kiss her and leave her. Like it's almost like leads.
It's foreplay.
It's foreplay, yeah. And it's like leaving something to the imagination.
Yeah. But I mean, there's also the thing of that being like, you know, what if you're bad in bed? And then they're like, I don't want to fuck you. And they don't even know you before that. That's true. So you're kind of giving them that first impression still. But it's a bad experience, and maybe it's not a bad experience because he's bad at bad. Maybe you're bad at bad.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's true.
It's like,
could be all of those,
and that's the same thing where it goes with guys. It's like, men, if you're looking for a relationship, don't fuck her on the first day if you want a relationship with her, because what if you're bad in bed? And women are we are very easier to get over that if we like you, and we don't know if we like you yet on the first date.
And then you could teach them.
And then if we care enough about it, or like we like the guy a lot, then we are happy to be teachers and the things of like, whatever. But
I think that's actually a very good point.
You know?
But yeah, obviously it's different whether you're actually dating to be in a relationship or you're just having some fun. Yeah. Put it that way. They're obviously two different things. And if somebody is repeatedly not getting a second date, and I mean, I think it's also tough because they may be, like you said, come out of a relationship and they're a bit bitter, and so that bitter sort of comes across as this sort of angry
Yeah.
angry, aggressive, rage sort of thing, which I think is quite common.
Yeah.
And I think you also have to, it's also about your expectations. Like, surely you can get a vibe from the guy. Don't try and make a woman or a man into something that they're not. So if they're very clearly not interested, okay, thank you very much, and just move on.
Yes.
Just don't keep beating the same drum.
That's right.
Don't you think?
Yes. And then it's also like people, like from what I've seen from some of my friends, like people are like so, like they really want to stand out. And like when they're meeting people and all that stuff, but it's like sometimes they're just not doing it in the right way. That makes sense.
How do they want to stand out?
Like they're
Like where they're dressed, or
sometimes with the way they dress, but mostly it's just like with the comments they make when they're like in a
I
group or
see.
like in, and I'm like, this isn't you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like they'll
Yeah, for
say
sure.
weird things, and I'm like aggressive women will be aggressive, like more like that because they have to stand out and they have to show the other people that they're in charge or like whatever it might be. And I'm like, you have to stop doing that if you want people to kind
Massive
of
turn off.
like, exactly, like want to get to know you a little bit deeper.
I think it's also, and I know it's very easy for me to say I do say this, but I think it's also nerves and kind of panic.
Yeah, 100%.
And particularly with women, I know what it's like. You get to a certain age and you start to like slightly internally panic. And and you sort of say things like you're talking about, and let me tell you, people can smell fear.
Yeah, they can.
So don't be so stressed about every individual date. I know, again, that's very easy for me to say, but you can't make something into something it isn't. So just kind of enjoy each experience and be a little bit more relaxed about it.
Yeah.
And then you'll find the person. Like if you're relaxed and nice and then people will gravitate toward you and natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. But I think it's a normal reaction. It's horrible. I mean, people don't like dating. I mean, you just want to get over it. You just want to be like, okay, let's just get on with it. But you have to go through this whole
And then it's hard when you haven't had sex in a while.
Of course, that's
and then you're like
nerve-wracking.
kind of desperate for sex. And we're just talking about like that thumping of hormones.
Yeah.
Of just like, I need sex. How do I do it? And like, it's hard to say no to sex on the first date if you really want it.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely there's that. And also there could be nerves if you've been with the same person for a very long time.
Yeah.
So you're with that person. So it's kind of nerve-wracking
for
them would be with another person. And maybe you think what you did is not what they do and you're nervous about it. And I think that's quite normal. But I think you're right. If you just be yourself and stop trying to maybe act so much, it'd be easier. But I do appreciate that's very easy for me to say. But so going back to just to sort of tune out, what do we say? Finish the conversation.
Oh, very good.
Whatever I'm trying to say.
Conclude.
There you go. Thank you. It's been a long week, ladies and gentlemen.
Jesus Christ, the jet lag is still real. We've been here for a little bit.
Very long week. Is that you want to help your friend. You really do. But be nice. Be kind. Don't be an arsehole.
Don't be a fucking dick.
Think of something to say that's, and I don't mean if they're they got BO, leave a
deodorant
stick on there. Whatever.
Or be like, hey, I just got this really great deodorant and it was a 2-for-1 deal. Do you want it? Stick it in their bag. Don't even let them answer.
Wow.
That's what I would do.
Wow.
If I knew my friend smelled.
Wow.
What are they going to say? No, I don't want a free deodorant. And then I'll be like, that's how I know you smell.
Wow, Susie.
Okay.
I'm
just saying.
Maybe so what are you going to do about the halitosis? Can't get over
Put
this.
Breath mints in there.
Put their breath mints in.
I mean, maybe take them to the doctor because you never know.
That is terrifying. That makes it
Isn't
like
that
literally his
horrible?
mouth was rotting then.
Yes. That's why it smelled. And it was like, not like a regular like bad breath. Like this was like bad. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and it's hard to say that to someone.
Of course it is.
Because you're like, I don't know how to bring that up.
Yeah.
But literally, yeah. It was horrible. So he's better now. He's fine.
I'm very happy for him.
Me too.
Anyway,
but yeah.
try and help your friends.
Help your
even
friends.
if they ask you, what do you think it is? Still be kind. Don't tell them.
And also just be like, do you want me to be honest? Or like, do you want me to be kind of more supportive in the way of like, there's ways that you can even ask them to give you, to not have this kind of weird thing now with your friend who maybe you have to say something mean to them.
Yeah, but I do think the dating thing is a huge, I mean, just like this week looking at the Hinge pro. We were having some fun looking at
Oh my
Susie's
God.
Hinge, and she changed her location to London, and just to see what the guys are like. And it's just like, stop trying so hard.
These men.
Very annoying. It's just like, and again, this is not me. I'm not on Hinge, but it's like they're trying so very hard.
Yeah.
It's bath making.
Yes.
Whereas
Just the prompts they do. I think for older men too, like they're just like, I'm like, it's okay. You're gonna like, you're a good looking guy. You seem like you have your shit together in the way of like money and whatever else. It seems. I have no idea who you are, but there is these things where you're like, I just looking for someone to really sweep me off my feet, or I want to sweep them off their feet, and
You're on
let's
Hinge.
go on
Come on.
travels together. And I'm like,
Get a
oh
grip.
my fucking God.
Or one guy was standing in front of a Lamborghini.
Oh my God.
That's very nice.
can't
But
deal
one
with
thing you
this.
should know is that probably isn't his Lamborghini.
Exactly.
And if he had a Lamborghini, maybe he doesn't need to be on Hinge.
Exactly.
You
Maybe
know?
he's on Raya instead.
So I'd be very suspicious. I'd want to know if the Lamborghini comes to the first date.
It better.
Yeah, better.
I'm not going. No, he's like, it's actually in the shop. Sorry.
Yeah, it's in the
It's
shop.
in the shop.
My wife's borrowing it.
Yeah,
probably what it was.
exactly.
But anyway, we've
Okay.
tried to answer the question. We appreciate it is a very difficult question. And I
It's very.
understand that you're very worried about your friend and you want to help. And I think you can help. Just be kind.
Yeah.
Be helpful. Be kind. Don't be cruel. Don't be nasty.
No nastiness.
I don't like nastiness.
No.
Because I personally, about myself, I very much accept. Very, very much accept I'm not perfect. And so you should be very careful what you say to people.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. If they are your friend, you can be nice, but you should also be honest. If they want you to
Helpfully
be.
honest.
Helpfully honest.
Supportive, constructively honest.
Thank you.
There we go.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Good job.
Okay.
Well, toodles from London.
Yes, toodles.
Toodles. We will talk to you next time. And don't forget to go to sharingmytruth.com if you have another truth you want to share with us. A comment, a question, whatever you want. Mel wants to know.
I do.
Susie wants to know. Here we are. And go to Share My Truth Pod on the socials.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra!
Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod. And leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye!